Here's my quick little reminder. Easier to keep up than to catch up. Make sure you're checking your grade book on a regular basis so you know where you stand with getting your assignments turned in. Okay? Now, as we go through this, before we get started, it's going to be important for you to have this 2019 tax table document open. It's in the course content because you're going to need to utilize that to look up answers as we go through this recording. And again, as you go into the content, you're going to see this 2019 tax table, that PDF document. Open that thing up so that you can then just go back and forth as you go through this recording. So take a moment. If you don't have that open right now, get it open and then start the recording again, okay? Because we're going to need that document as we go through. So what we're going to be doing is focusing on this part of the 1040. We've looked at this a little bit before, but we're going to be going through and focusing on particular lines. So right here, we're going to focus on line 7B. I will give you information to put in up here, okay? And what does 7B say? It just says add lines 1, 2B, 3B, 4B, 4D, 5B, 6, and 7A. And then whatever you get from adding those up is going to be your answer for that. We're also going to focus then on line 8B. And what does line 8B say to do? Just take line 7B and subtract that answer from it. So whatever you have here, subtract this number, that's going to be your answer here. And at this point in time, we're not going to be using Schedule 1. So this will be a non-issue, and you'll see what that's going to look like. We're going to focus on line 9. So we're going to be looking at standard deduction. So you're going to look at this information over here, and you will be told the filing status, if it's single or married filing separately, if it is married filing jointly, if it is a head of a household. So you'll be able to get that number right out of here. Then we're going to focus on line 11A, which says add lines 9 and 10, but you're not going to have this form 8995 or 8995A, so this is going to be a non-issue on line 10. And then lastly, we're going to get to line 11B, which is taxable income. And then what does that say to do? It says take your answer from line 8B, subtract whatever you had from line 11A, and that's what's going to go right here, because this is the number that we're going to need to look up to utilize our tax table to know how much money we have to pay for tax for the whole year. Now, what does that look like with numbers? Let's get to that. So I gave you the numbers. I gave you these values for lines 1 and 2B, okay? And now how did I get this number right here? It said add these lines together. So what did I do? I took this plus this, boom, there it is. I got that 56,125. And we're going to line 8B. It says subtract line 8A from 7B, but again, we're not using Schedule 1. So there's nothing to subtract, so you'll notice those are the same numbers. Now, line 9 says get the standard deduction, and I have 12,200. How did I get that number? Because my filing status is single, and when I look up here, there it is, 12,200 for filing single. Okay, and then I'm going to 11A. It says add lines 9 and 10. Again, we're not going to use either of these forms, so you'll notice that these two answers are the same. And then lastly, we're going to the taxable income line, which says take this answer, subtract this answer from it. That's how I got that 43,925. Now, this is the number that you're going to use to look up at the tax amount due for $43,925. So now you need to use that 2019 tax table. Our filing status is single. Our income is 43,925. So you need to go to that form and determine the tax due. So go get that number from the tax table. What number is that going to be for the tax due? Excellent. $5,522. Perfect. Now, here we go. Going to do the same thing. What's the difference? I didn't fill in all those other lines for you, so you need to do that. So now, again, we're going to line 7B. What answer are we going to have for line 7B? Excellent, 77,895, because all I did was take these two numbers and add them together. Next line we're going to, line 8B, the adjusted gross income. What answer is going to go on line 8B? Perfect, that same 77,085, because we're not using Schedule 1, so there's nothing to subtract. Okay, next line, line 9, our standard deduction. So what do we need to get that number? Think about that. And now what's the value that's going in for line 9? Perfect, 24,400. Why? Married filing jointly. There it is. Okay, next line is line 11A. What answer are we going to put on line 11A? Excellent. That same 24,400, because we're not using either of these forms. And now lastly, line 11B, what answer is going to go in that line? Excellent. 53,495, because I just took these two numbers and subtracted them. Now, again, you're going to the tax table and you're going to find the tax due. So make sure you have the information you need. There is the taxable income. So that's the number you're looking up. We're using married filing jointly. So what is the amount of tax due based upon that information? Perfect, $6,029. Okay, one more. All right, again, I gave you these two numbers right off the top. So here we go. Line 7B, what do we get for line 7B? Awesome. Again, just adding those two together. Go to line 8B. What's going to be on line 8B? Perfect, that same $38,772, because there's nothing in line A. Next line, line 9. What are we putting on line 9? Excellent, 12,200. Why? Because that is the single deduction. Okay, now we're at 11A. What goes on line 11A? That same 12,200. And then lastly, our taxable income is line 11B. What are we going to put on that line? Perfect, the 26,552, because again, all we're doing is subtracting those two to get that answer. Last but not least, we got to get our tax due. Got to go back to the 2019 tax table and look up that value. Think about what information we need to have to look that up. So what is our amount of tax due for this information? Perfect, $2,995, because you looked up to the 26,552 and you used the single column. Excellent job. Okay, so at this point, let's get it done. Well, what is it that we're getting done? You're doing the 12-2 income tax due class kick assignment. Here is the class code. And one little note before you get started on that, all dressed up and ready to go. Make note that there are 3 pages on this assignment, so don't forget that. Don't stop at page 1. Make sure you go all the way to page 3. And just do your best, and I am confident that you will do an excellent job.